Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out to our Wreath ceremony in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Before we get started, I want to make sure I thank our partners and friends for all their support. I want to thank Starbucks for bringing their great coffee, even though I don't drink coffee, but I know so many do. Thank you so much for your support and bringing the coffee out there for us. I want to thank, again, our AFSCME partners. I want to thank our Alpha partners, and as you see, the Alphas have placed the wreath on Monument Circle. I want to thank, again, our partners with our youth organizations who have made and you'll see the light show that we have, and we have our youth reciting the I Have a Dream speech. And I also want to thank, again, is the War Memorial for the support and help with this great event. Again, is also thanks for the heater, and we really appreciate you coming out and support us as we honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Again, is thank you so much. With that, first I would like to bring up representatives that we have here with us this evening. Representatives, if you'll come up and give us some words.
Director Wilson, thank you so much for the opportunity. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Let us remember Dr. Martin Luther King by showing love to our neighbors, and more than ever showing unity, and that we could work together, and that together we can make a difference, and we could be a light in this dark world. Thank you so much, and thank you, Director Wilson.
Again, as we know, we want to make sure that we practice social distancing and our masks for protection. We want to be safe, but we knew that we need to have this event, again, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So our first speaker is the chair of the Indiana Holiday Committee, Janae Beleza.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank you all for joining us for this evening's annual wreath placing ceremony. My name is, as Greg said, Janae Beleza. I am the chair of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Indiana Holiday Commission, and I'm just so grateful that we have great weather for this. Usually there's a tsunami or a blizzard going on during this, so we are grateful for the weather. Just wanted to let you know that I'm here to represent not just myself, but also our fellow commissioners, who we have some in the audience this evening. If you would raise your hand so folks can know who you are. The commissioners represent the 9 congressional districts throughout the states to make sure that all of our voices are heard in the representation of Dr. Martin Luther King. So for the last 30 years, our commission has been tasked with promoting Dr. King's legacy of equality and equal justice while providing educational tools that demonstrate the historical significance and current relevance of Dr. King's life and how it relates to America as a whole. This wreath placing ceremony is a very special event to us. Placing the wreath on Monument Circle signifies our solemn commemoration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and our promise to always recognize and celebrate his life, his legacy, and all of the incredible things that he stood for. So again, we want to thank you all for being part of this commemorative ceremony, and please help me welcome Adrian Cushenberry, President of the Iota Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Good evening. Well, she kind of got the name mixed up, but that's okay. My name is Brother Lee Morris. I am the president for Iota Lambda chapter, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Today,
we celebrate the life and legacy of our dear brother, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, he was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Dr. King, I have a dream speech, said the Emancipation Proclamation was a beacon of light for over 1 million Negro slaves. Well, we have the same problem today. The same problem today. But you know something? We have something called the vote. The vote is our hope. The vote is our beacon. Over the past few months, we proved that our vote was a beacon, was a light that we can depend on, that can guide us. We know Dr. King as a drum major. He was a drum major for peace. He was a drum major for justice. But as the years go by of his death, we can understand his legacy more, understand his vision better. Now we have groups like the Black Lives Matter, the African American Coalition of Indianapolis, Indiana. So his dream is still enduring forever. Dr. King also had a voice. He had a voice for sanitation workers. In 1968, he said, let's boycott. Let's boycott. But you know, we did it, and he did it peacefully. Dr. King has marched from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. How did he do it? We did it peacefully. Dr. King marched on Capitol Hill. How did we do it? We did it peacefully. We see what's going on now. But if I could share one small thing with you, just one small thing with you. Dr. King's legacy, his vision, it still endures. And lastly, in conclusion, a dream occurs when you sleep. A vision occurs when there is action. Dr. King will want us to be about action. Thank you all for allowing me to address Dr. King's his dream endure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those words. Next, we have a couple of state representatives here, and so we're going to have one of our representatives come up, introduce themselves and speak, and they'll be followed by Alex Watson of Indiana Black Expo, one of our partners that's been on board with us from the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you all. My name is Maureen Bauer. I represent South Bend's Indiana House District 6. And on behalf of the residents there, I want to let you know that we stand with you and honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King as we continue to pursue equality and justice through peace. And today and every day, we will continue to strive to live out Dr. Martin Luther King's dream and achieve that. So thank you all for being here today. I appreciate your time for letting me speak.
Good evening. On behalf of Indiana Black Expo, our president and CEO, Tanya Bell, and our Indiana Black Expo Board of Directors, I bring you greetings. I think today and this evening is appropriate as we reflect on what we've gone through in 2020 and what we're embarking on in 2021. What Dr. Martin Luther King represented was peaceful disagreement, respect for all mankind, and making a movement to make sure that we all have equal access to opportunities. We at Indiana Black Expo will continue to forge ahead with that vision as we're addressing systemic racism amongst our youth, our family, and our businesses. And we will continue to do, as another great leader once said, the good work. The good work is work that we'll do to achieve those things and do it in a respectful way, a non-violent way, but an impactful way. And I urge everyone that is here this evening to follow that course of the great man as we once again continue to fight those systemic racisms that we experience throughout our lives. So again, thank you for attending this evening, and I bid you health and well-being. Thank you. My apologies, I forgot to introduce one of our board members, Mr. Steve Quick, the president of the local chapter of AFSCME.
Good evening. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Like you said, my name is Stephen Quick. I represent AFSCME, Local 725, a little bit over 500 members throughout the city of Indianapolis, and it's an honor really to be here. I had a pretty long speech, but what I prefer to do is two things. One, if we could take a moment of silence for all the killings and things that's here in Indianapolis. Last year, we look like we're starting on a bad year now, so just a moment of silence, please. Thank you. For the folks that don't know, Martin Luther King walked with our members at AFSCME Local 1733 in Memphis, Tennessee, when they had no respect. They had low wages, and he marched with our members. It really helped out and made a difference. The next day he was murdered, and it took about 11 days after that before our union members got the respect that they deserved. So without our brother Martin Luther King, that would have never happened. One of the quotes that he stated that I remember, it says, you are demonstrating that we can stick together. You are demonstrating that we are all tied as a single garment of destiny, and that if one black person suffers, if one black person is down, we all are down. And he believed that. He believed that we was all united as one, as human beings, and we should be respected as that. What I'm hoping is that Dr. King's spirit is needed more today than ever to put an end to inequality and answer the call of injustice and to unite the country. Let us all answer that call and carry on Dr. King's legacy. That's what's going to make a difference. And once again, thank you.
Again, I want to thank all of us speakers. Thank you, Steve. Worked with Steve Quick for a long time when I was with the city of Indianapolis. We've done some good work together. Again, it's all about service, all about giving back. So as we bring this to a close, again, the importance of this was to lay a wreath here at the monument, just to say how much we appreciate Dr. King and the work. We wouldn't be here without him, with what he's done as far as the equalities and the things that he's fought for us. But to end this, one is I want to make sure I remind you that at 6:45, they're going to do the light show for Dr. King, and also we have young people that are going to recite the I Have a Dream speech. So if you hang around at 6:45 after the War Memorial does their light show, it'll come on, and we hopefully everybody will stay around and watch that. It's the first. We appreciate that. And then I just like to say again, it's all about giving back. Again, I always say either you're part of the problem if you're not part of the solution. And I want to be part of the solution. Again, as someone said tonight, is that only light can drive out darkness. Our works is what will stand. So again, I want to thank you. We would be remiss, and this is a gentleman I've worked with for a long time. His name is Tom Brown. Not only have I had a chance to work with Tom, but Tom also has a lot of history on his side. Dr. King would stay at their home when he would come to Indianapolis. So Tom is going to let us go with the prayer, but also hopefully he'll give us some of that information on Dr. King and maybe their visits they had with him. But this will be after Tom speaks and prays.
Can you hear me? Oh yeah, you can hear me. Thank you, Greg, and to all of you. You're beautiful people. People ask me how old I am. 1 year from being 80. Dr. King and my father and myself and all of us. King was an Alpha. Ralph Abernathy was a Kappa. All of that. But thank you all. And there was something that a lot of folk don't know. My dad, myself, having worked in SCLC with Dr. King, he had a special prayer. And gentlemen, catch it. I don't carry one of them smartphones. It goes like this. And you all remember it. It was by St. Francis of Assisi. And this was what he is. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony, that where there is error, I may bring truth, that where there is doubt, I may bring faith, that where there is despair, I may bring hope, that where there are shadows, I may bring that light, that where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by giving that one receives, it is by self-giving that one finds, and it is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Be channels of peace. May God bless you and keep you, brothers. Amen.